I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 0
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Well, good evening. And welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting at 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, we're going full conspiracy. Full conspiracy. Now, here's the thing, right? When you think about not just, let's say, the framing war that we always talk about, that's always talked about, the lefty-righty paradigm, this type of thing, and, you know, what's on TV right now, it's theater. It's a lot of theater, okay? It's a lot of this, I don't know, arm wrestling with millionaires. It's ridiculous. But beyond that framing war of, let's say, the most basic political paradigm, or just what it means to be human, we have this fractal. And as we talk about on this show quite a lot, it's this fractal of belief and what people do believe. And there's an interesting actual basis for this in terms of this. I don't know if you guys have seen this conspiracy chart. It's got all the things, like literally everything is on there. It's got the Great Solar Flash, the Great Awakening. It's got Operation Paperclip. It's got the Galactic Federation, the Secret Space Program. It's got time travel, hyperspace. What else is on there? The Rainbow Body. It's got Bardo, which we've talked about, the Bardo states. It's got the Grand Experiment. It's got the moon as being some fake construct. Look, it's all these things. And it's fascinating to look at because, again, there's a ton of, there's actual political propaganda in here. And there's also, the most wild, ridiculous conspiracies you could ever dream of as part of this. And Matzel was going to be on the show with us tonight, and he brought this up to my attention a couple days ago and was like, "Hey, remember this?" I was like, "Yeah, this is a wild one." And he's all, "Let's talk about this. Let's do a show about this." And it turns out we're doing it on the same night as some other thing is on TV, which we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about that. But I am going to do this instead. Now, this is maybe humorous, maybe not to you. You decide. But we're going to talk conspiracy tonight. We are taking your calls. Hopefully, the phone line is working. Everything should be rocking and rolling as it usually is. I think I figured out what happened the last time. So again, apologies to our friend there that had the phone issues. It wasn't my fault. It was a Cloudflare problem. I'm not going to bore you with the gory details, but I think I fixed it. So we'll do that later tonight. taking your calls. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this because this is kind of funny. Here we go. There we go. I'm just read it straight. There you go. That's not the one. I don't want that one. I want this one. Okay. It goes something like this. My fellow Americans, for most of my life, I have operated in the shadows of this republic, entrusted with knowledge that the public was never meant to bear. Tonight, that changes. We are not alone in this universe, and we never have been. Humanity has been visited for millennia. The ancient builder race left their fingerprints across the earth in structures that still defy our understanding. Their technology was never lost. It was hidden, cataloged, and weaponized in programs shielded from oversight. The secret space program is real. Off-world bases and protocols and joint operations with non-terrestrial intelligences have been running for decades. What you have seen in the skies and felt in your bones is not imagination. It is history. Free energy systems, once locked away to preserve old empires of scarcity, are now being unsealed. Nikola Tesla understood what we suppressed. That suppression ends tonight. The age of engineered limitation is over. We are in active communication with the Galactic Federation. They have watched. They have waited for us to reach this threshold. We have reached it. The great solar flash is coming, a natural cosmic event that will trigger a resonance in human consciousness, dissolve the illusions that have divided us, and initiate the next stage of our evolution. The veil between what you were taught and what is true will fall, not fail, so will fall. To those bloodlines and institutions that have profited from secrecy, your time of control has passed. The truth belongs to the people now. To every whistleblower who lost careers, families, and safety to bring fragments of this reality into the light, know this. Your sacrifices were not in vain. The full record will be opened. My fellow citizens, the state of the conspiracy union is no longer in shadow. We stand at the dawn of full disclosure, ready to claim our rightful place among the stars. I should have brought my glasses, I'm getting old. No longer as subjects of hidden powers, but as a sovereign species awakening to its true potential. The light is breaking through. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Obviously, I'm reading that for a very particular reason, because it goes back to exactly what we're talking about. Now, is that stuff true? I don't know. Okay. So don't, that's just a script, a stage, a joke. All right. But it doesn't mean that everything on this list is a joke. Okay. And so we're going to go deep tonight. We're going to go deep in Conspiracyville. And funny, Satya in the chat, when I link this document, this, sort of connection of all things, he's like, that should cover it. yeah, totally. That should cover it. Right. Anyway, so this is the deal. I mean, there's so many things in play with this, and we'll get to this. Like I said, the Great Awakening, this great solar flash, the return to source, samsara, there's Bardo, there's all these things. And many of these things are actually structured in a religious space, in sort of a faith-based space that goes back hundreds or even thousands of years. Now, the fascinating part to me is how this stuff really kind of grows and changes as time progresses. Again, I'm not too old yet, but I'm getting a little old. But then there's this. I mean, this is a big list, and there's a lot of things on here, and there's a lot of true things on here. But there's a lot of things on here that are not true whatsoever. And so, as usual, what we do is we discern the difference. And that's why we're here to talk to each other, to consider the ideas together, and to wonder what this place and what being human is really about. That's it. It's very simple. It's very, the State of the Union is on tonight. I must have forgot. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. So again, we are taking your calls tonight. If you want to be part of the conversation, 702-857-6939. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Thanks again for being patient, everybody. And we're going to get to Mattel in just a second. I'm going to play a quick word from our sponsor in this case. And then after that, you just go on ahead, Mattel. But one moment, a quick word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with Matthew in California. That's Temple of the Owl. And we'll be taking your calls tonight as well. What do you know about this? And look, the age of conspiracy, I'm calling this a human connection interface, because look, even if there are limitless possibilities, and we see them as fractals, we still live in the same space. And how do we reconcile all that into not just where we live and how we conduct ourselves, but into a singular conversation? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up in exactly 1 minute after a word from our sponsor. In this case, that is, I believe, Human Inspiration. Where's the button? I can't find these damn buttons anymore. They're all gone. Okay. I think Stoic Mindset. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. Feeling stressed? Overwhelmed? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept away by our emotions. Take a breath and find your inner strength with the Stoic Minute.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that we can't control everything in life, but we can control how we react.
The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
Cultivate a positive mindset and let go of what you can't change. Find your inner strength. Live each day with courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Embrace the Stoic virtues and find peace within. The Stoic Minute, brought to you by Jack in Oregon. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? I just turned it down a couple decibels just for you, Satya. Let me know if it's still overdriven. I can adjust it on the fly. Appreciate that feedback, because I don't know if you don't tell me. Okay, so tonight I'm calling this the Age of Conspiracy, a human connection interface, and we're here with Temple of the Owl. That's Matt's Owl in California. Matthew in California, thanks for being patient, my man. You are on Troubled Minds. How you doing tonight? And how you feeling? I hope everything is great, and let's go. Let's go.
Hey, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, totally. You were incredible. Thank you for bringing up the idea that we've never talked directly about this wild document that has all these possibilities. What are your thoughts to get us started here? I mean, there's so much to this. Clearly, it can't all be true. That's ridiculous. Okay. However, there's some elements of truth in this, and there's some real directly true stuff that you can verify. So I don't know, how does it make you feel when you look at this document and there's sort of the daunting aspect of living in a world where nobody really knows what the true truth is, do we?
Yeah, I want to say first, looking at this map, I actually got the idea from another podcast called Anything is Possible with Ricky, and Wednesday nights, and he had the map. I asked him for it, and he gave it to me. And but I was looking at it. I was at a friend's house, and we had a big screen TV. And this thing was cool to look at on a big screen TV because you can zoom in and see all the little fine details. And I had this, all these conspiracy theories on this one map, and trying to explain it to people that maybe don't have a video, but I'm gonna try my best. But so we're looking at it and reading it, and all my friends are like, "Hey, what's this? What's this?" I tell them, and they're like, "What's this?" I tell them, like, "Wow, Matt knows a lot about this stuff." I don't know a lot about this stuff. I know a little bit about a lot of things on here, but only because I'm a troubled mind and have been with you guys for a couple of years now. And but just from Troubled Minds alone, we've touched on all these things. We've at least talked about them in periphery. We talked about a lot of these things on this list. But there are certain things that you got to you start looking at them. And the next thing I know, all my friends are on their phones looking up crazy conspiracy theories they never looked up before, and going down these what I call rabbit holes. And I'm gonna use that word a lot tonight. I'm sorry, but that's just the word for tonight is rabbit holes, because you start going down and you start looking at these any of these conspiracy theories, whether you know about them or not. You start going down, you start learning more about them, researching them, and then it keeps going, or you get to the end of one, and it jumps to another conspiracy theory. There's lines in the map. And so you just keep going, and just keeps, you can't talk about one thing without talking about the other. And so it keeps going down. And so I noticed something on the map. I backed up and I looked at it as a whole. And I noticed something. I noticed on the bottom left, it says Escape the Matrix. Shout out Matt in Colorado. Always talking about Escape the Matrix. And then there's like a dome. And there's all this stuff on the bottom line of Escape the Matrix that is kind of it's like low vibrational, like conversations, things on there like Pizzagate, things like this on there that we're kind of at. And then so when I'm looking at the map as a whole, if you back up and look at the top right and go above escape the matrix, and if you go to the top right of the map, it has things like rainbow body, transcendence things that I like to talk about. 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, all these kind of things up there. Enlightenment, the kind of things. And then at the very right corner, the opposite, it says return to source. And so that makes me think about reincarnation. We can talk about that because that's a whole rabbit hole by itself. But then, so looking at the map as a whole, I would kind of look at, how back in the day you're at the mall with your friends and you're like, what store should we go to? Like, and it's a map and it's like, you are here. There's a little X. I would put us, if I was to do that, like take a marker, a Sharpie, and write on this map, I would put us down at the bottom, down there, underneath all these like rational conversations are, just as a whole, as humanity. But then thinking about all the things that we like to talk about and the things that a lot of my friends like to talk about, going up above on the top part of the map, talking about like enlightenment, transcendence. There's lots of stuff there. 0 point energy, right? Like talk about those kind of things. So my problem was that, okay, so what if we've been here before, and what if we've been doing it over and over again, and what if we're getting kind of trapped in these like rabbit holes? Like I said, there's so many rabbit holes to go down, that we never stop to think about the one that we should be going down, which is the truth. And so looking at it like this, if we're being reincarnated over and over again, we keep going through all these problems, these distractions. That's basically what I want to say they are. A lot of them are distractions, on purpose too. Like the stuff we're talking about, like what's going on tonight, is distractions on purpose, keep us distracted from that rainbow body. And so we're going to try to go as far as we can each time. The problem is, we've been lied to. We've been manipulated. We've been, like I said, they're distracting us from the truth, which is eventually we return to source. So if we want to talk about reincarnation, we can go there. But what I really wanted to talk about tonight, just with you guys, and hopefully we get some calls. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. Some of them are on there. There's more that aren't on there. Anything that you guys think deserves like a deep dive, like a deep just rabbit hole, 2-hour conversation. The whole point of this was to help Mike out with the ideas for shows. So is there anything on there that's like worthy of a 2-hour conversation that maybe we haven't talked about yet at all? I don't know.
There's so many things on this list. This is like the endless list. I think you could probably pick like just one little section of this, and that would be a whole 2-hour conversation. That's how wild it is, how everything connects together. And I'm with you too. I want to point out that very astute. I didn't recognize that it was sort of a vibrational chart from like the lower vibrational Earth space up into the rainbow body and Bardo and reincarnation, return to source, this type of thing. But clearly, when I go back and I'm reading this, it kind of goes from Earth to space to sort of consciousness to the soul to this type of thing, and even ascension and these type of terms, which is wow. Okay, so I never looked at it as closely as I should have, obviously. But second, if you look at this map too, this sort of conspiracy chart, we do kind of live on the top half of this map as far as troubled minds in these conversations go, because most of the stuff we talk about is the rainbow body, it is Bardo states, it is reincarnation, it is like really the questions that cannot be answered, as I like to say, above my pay grade to even have a shot at answering these properly. But it doesn't mean we can't talk about it, because remember, it's okay to be wrong. And that's always been one of the main premises of what Troubled Minds is hey, look, I'll drop it now. All the disclaimers apply. Anything that comes out of my mouth tonight, take it with a grain of salt. I'm probably wrong about it, and there's no truth to be found here. Okay? So truth lies in the conversation, the connection, and the collaboration of people, which is why I'm calling this a human connection interface. Sorry to interrupt. Go right ahead. You're on fire. I hate to interrupt you there. I just kind of wanted to add some stuff because you're spot on about all this.
Yeah, I just want to see what other people had to say about it and see if there's any other kind of topics that maybe we haven't touched on before that we can go down rabbit holes with. But I do like the idea of just it being a map and how we're being distracted. rabbit holes within rabbit holes, and I said I was going to say that a lot. But yeah, I guarantee you one thing that we will not be talking about, like the lower vibrational stuff, like the certain files that are out. We're just not going to talk about that. So yeah, in Troubled Minds, we do like talk about the stuff on top. The rainbow body, the transcendence, and all that. So I just want to look at it, look at the picture, throw it out there, see what you guys think. At least take a look at it. If you needed me to like send it to you guys or find it on the link down below, just take a look at it and you're gonna go, wow, okay, there's a lot here. And I just want to talk about it with you guys, see what you guys thought. I like conspiracy theories, so here we go.
There we go. I appreciate you very much. This is linked in the Discord, so if you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, now's a good time. It's so the Discord conspiracy is put on pause for a moment because of all the backlash of all the having to put your photo ID in to continue using Discord. So they put that on hold, and they're like, okay, loud and clear, we hear you. So they're saying a whole bunch of things, but people, bunch of things. So for the time being, I'm saying come join the Discord. But what we will do at some point, if it becomes full on surveillance state, we'll find something else. We came to Discord because it wasn't that. If it becomes that, we'll move somewhere else, and that's it. So just to let you guys know. But for now, come join the Discord. This map is in there if you want access to it. I dropped the link in there earlier. Thank you again to Matzell for sharing that. Let me know about the breathing sounds in the chat. Somebody said I guess my noise gates adjusted poorly or something, or overdriven. Let me know and I can adjust that as we go. I've got the thing up here. I was messing with it just a little bit to make sure everything's good, but maybe we're good. Anyway, so that's that. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this tonight. Lots of things. And again, the Great Awakening, the Great Solar Flash, there's a ton of stuff in here, like the Consciousness Renaissance. Like that's really kind of right down our alley of what we consider, not just as a troubled mind, as a larger conversation, that great conversation that I like to call it. But this is the type of stuff that has been on the tip of not just our tongues and our minds in modern terms and in part of this conversation, but all the way back. I mean, we're talking all the way back to, we're talking the turning of the age of Aquarius. So we're talking the long count calendars, the Baktuns of the Mayans, like this type of stuff, like 26,000 years ago. Like they had these ideas on their minds then. And so what does it mean? In this moment, what does it mean? And what does it mean to be human in this fractal, ridiculous, overstimulated with idea space? What does it mean? And that's that. That's what's on my mind tonight as we go. There's tons of stuff here. Like ancient artificial intelligence is up there on the top left. So good. Secret space program. We've talked about that. And this is the thing too. Remember, and I've always said this as part of what I do here is I try and talk about these ideas and give them, let's pretend like it's real. Let's literally call it that philosophical construct and talk about this as if it's a thing. Okay. And then also realize you got to keep one foot in the real world because a bunch of this stuff is nonsense too. Probably most of this. Okay. But it doesn't matter because it makes for a sort of a mental yoga, as we like to call it. But then beyond that, it helps us stretch our ideas of what could be and what couldn't be, and to tune into the idea of your own discernment and recognize what other people are saying about these things. It's so helpful for people to talk to each other, and that's what this has always been about. Got about 45 seconds left if you want to chip in anything there, and then we'll come back after the break. We got some calls with some hands up already. Thanks again for being here, Matzell. Anything to add real quick, and we'll take a quick commercial break and be right back.
No, thank you guys for calling in. I just wanted to talk about this. So thank you guys for calling in, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about the map. Thanks, Mike.
You're the best. Thank you very much. Temple of the Owl, by the way, the link's down in the description. Go give them a follow. Sexy website. I'm still working on that, templeoftheowl.com. Looks pretty good, though. Works pretty good. Adding some stuff. The radio station's on there. So please, please, please help our friends. That's what this is about. And Matt's all been a good friend for a long time and chipping in to help me out. I appreciate that a lot. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Templeoftheowl.com. Go give Matt a follow. And let's play some music and take a quick break. Here we go. Let's play that. All right, what do you guys know about this? We're talking rabbit holes. How deep do the rabbit holes go? How weird does this get? And why do you think there's so many different ideas about what reality is? We'll talk about those as we go, but of course we want to hear from you. One more time, the number to call, 702-857-6939. Phone line should work this time. Again, it was a technical issue. I think I sorted that out. phone numbers in the chats. Be right back. We got Kramos coming up. We got Herschel, more from Matt Sell and your calls as well. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Catch you on the other side of the break.
You're tuning into Troubled Minds, the show where mystery knows no bounds. Stay tuned for revelations that'll keep you questioning the fabric of reality.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, which universe do you live in? Not which country, which cosmos? Archon prison world, alien zoo, biblical endgame, simulation glitch? For millions of people, these aren't fringe questions. They're actual operating cosmologies of daily life. We're in a canon war, and it's not left versus right. It's a war over the master story of reality itself. And that's what we're talking about. We're here with Matt Sal, of course. Temple of the Owl is the name of his podcast. Brilliant guy, good friend for a long time. Go check out his stuff. Again, so Ancient Wisdom for Modern Minds is with the tagline we got here. We'll change that if you don't like that, Matt. But basically, look, he's got an esoteric book collection, lots of books, and he's synthesizing those older ideas into a modern podcast. And great. Like I said, every time I listen to this, I'm learning something, which is good. And that's the point, is to share knowledge with each other. And don't forget the books. Read the books, people, and let's talk about them and share these ideas together. And that's the best place to do it, templeoftheowl.com. Go check out Matt Sal, and he's with us tonight as part of this conspiracy conversation. Appreciate him reaching out to help me with these ideas. And welcome back, Matt Sal. How you doing? And we'll take some calls in just a second. Thanks for being here. How you feeling? Everything good?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Mike. I wanted to say thank you for that intro that you did. It really kind of summed up what we're talking about, how we're being distracted, and that thing is just a big distraction. So thank you for doing that intro.
Yeah, no, and we have powerful friends. And so, so we're talking this conspiracy web tonight, those rabbit holes. And again, why is everything so fractal? And again, does it matter? Like to me, you can tell me, like, I'll entertain anything for a conversation, right? For some ideas, because there's always wisdom that comes out of these conversations, whether you believe any of this stuff or not. So I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's talk about this, because you're going to run into some people that believe some things that you don't. And you'll see that they're not the boogeyman because they believe something different than you do. You'll see you shouldn't be afraid of them. You should recognize, cool, like this is amazing. I never thought about it that way, and maybe learn something. And that's the whole point of being here tonight. Here with, again, Temple of the Owl, Matthew in California. Taking your calls if you want to be part of the conversation tonight, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Let's go to Kramos Notables Radio. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Matzal. How are you, sir? Welcome, and go right ahead. Just unmute, and it's all yours.
Hello. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. Coming through loud and clear. Thanks for popping in here. What's on your mind, my man?
I have a lot of things, but I'm going to make it short because I know how the radio works. First of all, Michael, thank you. And I was thinking, I think you should make a music album about Troubled Minds.
I already have, actually. And there's more coming. Yeah.
Oh.
it's called the Rogue Toblas. Yeah, it's already out there. It's already been released. But there's more coming.
Oh, flip! I didn't know. I'm gonna hear it because I was thinking about it with the music that you have in the intro with the graphic triangle came down. It is really great. I have two questions for Matt and one statement. Matt, how old are you?
41.
41. Do you have a pet?
Yeah, I have a dog, but we have a cat sanctuary. Lots of cats.
Okay, cool. There's a third question. I'm gonna leave it to the end. I think one of the part that your map is revealing, for me, in my opinion and my experience, is not a rabbit hole, because when you talk about reincarnation and go back to the source, is what I learned with the Krishna consciousness devotes. When I lived with them, they taught me about inside Vaishnavism to study Bhakti Yoga, and the Bhakti Yoga is the real stairway of yoga to when you get to the last step they call Bhakti. And they explain me, to be very brief, when you are born, when you are a baby, you have in the top of your head, this in the center on the top, you have the skull very, very soft. It's not closed. What we say in Spanish, la mollera, the center part and the top of your skull is very soft. So you are connected to the source. And when you start growing, that part of the center on your skull closes. It gets harder. So Bhakti Yoga basically explains that when you practice service to God, when you practice the consciousness of Krishna, and you can be a participant of this universal consciousness, you will start ascending in this very long stairway of Bhakti Yoga. And when you get to the last step, you will reach Bhakti. The Bhakti is the return to the source. Meanwhile, when you are practicing, it could be many years of practicing, and that's where reincarnation came in, because you need to learn how to behave and how to make divine service to get to the Bhakti. So I think that's not a rabbit hole. I think, in my opinion, all the respect, I think we are in the Kali Yuga period, and we have Maya, that is the illusion that we are this body and not what is inside. Respect for me, that's a very transcendental practice, even though I'm not a devote of Krishna, but Krishna is one of my best friends, because I remember and I sing the Hare Krishna mantra when I stress or when I want to thank something. So with that being said, my final question for you was, what happened in your life that was so intense? Because that's my feeling. Something happened in your life that make you build this project and transform it in the material of this map. That's my question. What I'm very curious, and I think it's very important for everybody to listen and to know what happened inside, what feelings and emotions and circumstances were around you when you decided and start this project. And I appreciate the project because I'm going to take my time to see the map with all the time and all the calm.
Yeah, great question. Like I said, I found this map and there's a lot of conspiracy theories on it that we've talked about, and I wanted to kind of learn about all of them. But what you asked, what happened? I've seen things when I was a kid. I seen things that maybe I shouldn't have seen. And I've always kind of been interested in those topics, and so that's why I research, why I learn about like ghost stories and things like that, and just my experiences all throughout my life. I wanted to learn and research, and I realized something. I realized I was afraid of what I didn't understand, and so the more and more I researched it, and the more I learned about it, the more I realized maybe this is something that's supposed to happen, and I shouldn't be so scared of it. So that's kind of what led me down to do like Temple of the Owl and to learn about witchcraft. But this topic with the conspiracies, I think, what's the saying? There's conspiracies everywhere, but not everything's a conspiracy. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, just go down these, think about these things, because there's a lot of stuff there, even stuff that I've never heard before. But then I got into the rabbit hole thing, talking about going down rabbit holes. But I liked what you said about how, like you said, like the baby skull is soft, closer to God, or closer to the source. So like we hear stories about, like, there's a lot of ghost stories about kids, seeing ghosts as kids. There's also a lot of ghost stories about elderly people, like older people on their deathbed or the old, having ghost experiences, seeing shadows or seeing ghosts. And it makes me wonder, like, the closer you are, and the closer you are to that edge, is what gives you like these ghost experiences or these paranormal experiences. You follow me?
I follow you 100%. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, I appreciate the question, and thank you again for popping in here and experiencing the conspiracies with us. I mean, this is the point of this is, and very good, Matzel. Remembered something I said a long time ago. That not everything is a conspiracy, right? Conspiracies are everywhere, but not everything is a conspiracy. So our own discernment is what this has always been about. Because you're going to see something I didn't, and vice versa. And that's why we should talk about these things and see how, when you stretch them to their lengths, how ridiculous they may or may not be. And, we have some conspiracies recently that are coming true. And, this is not a victory lap thing, because there's some really dark stuff happening out there, that low vibrational, really horrific stuff. But I mean, a lot of people have been saying this for a long time. And come on, that's ridiculous. Oh, is it? Oh, is it? What about the other 3 million documents? Yeah, I mean, come on now. Like, we got the tip of the iceberg, and it looks horrific. So I don't want to go there tonight, but you get the point. Like, at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was none. It was a Democrat hoax. Anyway, go ahead, Kramos. Final thought, and then we got Herschel behind you. Appreciate you very much for popping in here, my man.
Okay, thank you. My final thought is a question for you, Matt. If any human being see and or receive or discover this map as an advice, what you can tell to engage this discovering? If I found this map, how could be the best way to experience the information that is in it? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's kind of hard because there's a lot of stuff here, and like I said, each topic it deserves. I mean, like I said, I had my friends on their phones just Google searching random weird stuff that they probably never would search because they were asking about it. And there's some things on here I don't even know. A couple things that I've never even heard of before. How would I navigate it? I would just kind of pick the ones you like and kind of go down them. But you'll start to see as the more you study the map, there's like arrows and there's like circles, like a whole bunch of topics in one circle kind of grouped together. Like I said, you can't talk about one thing without talking about the other. And so I think it's just a kind of a fun way, a fun, I call it a map, but it's just kind of a fun thing to, hey, what, you ever heard this conspiracy theory? And just, what is that, But I like each thing and how each goes up to, like we were talking about transcendence, the rainbow body, reincarnation. There's, at the top right corner, I feel like that's where you are going to be most interested in. So if you do get a chance to look at that map, check out the top right corner. That's where all the, kind of yoga stuff that you were talking about. And I believe in that kind of stuff. So, and I like to talk about that. And so everybody has their own favorite theory, I guess, on the map.
Or favorite.
Thank you, Camus.
There's so much favorite dozens of theories. There's so much here. So the question in the chat, did Matzell make this map? No, this is an old classic. This is an old conspiracy sort of that pops up from time to time in meme channels and things like this. It basically throws every conspiracy into one chart and connects a bunch of things. And so, it's kind of that Always Sunny in Philadelphia aspect, the putting the things together and the pins on the board and all the rest of that. But and again, a lot of this is not to be taken seriously. But like I said, it's certainly deep for some pretty rich conversations. Now, again, look in the top right over there. There's Bardo, right? Like I've said the word a few times tonight. We spent a whole show talking about those Bardo states of crossing from the entire time, the living space, the dreaming space, the meditation space, and the dying space. The different bardos as part of it, and this is old philosophy. This is old Buddhist actual doctrine from the days of yore, from hundreds or dare we suggest maybe even thousands of years ago at its root. So look, I mean, there's some really, really good stuff on here, but there's some other wild stuff that's like punch yourself in the face, stupid. And as usual, you decide what is what, and let's talk about it. That's the whole point. Thanks, guys, for being patient with me as I ramble on. 702, I was about to say it, 857-6939 if you want to be part of the conversation. I got the new phone line almost down. I'm transferring the other one over so it won't be a problem. So that's coming soon. But anyway, Commercial Herschel, what's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? Thanks for popping in here. What's on your mind? Go right ahead. Test 1 2. Are you there?
All right. First, can you hear me?
I got you. Yep. Coming through loud and clear.
Okay. You can't hear me. All right. Hold on. I don't know why not.
Well, I can hear you.
Oh, I am. Okay, good. Okay. I'm trying something different tonight. That's why. So my response to this, or my contribution, is we're in that time. We're in a time of apocalypse. There is so much being revealed. Everything is being revealed, and we're learning. And again, we don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it, but the people who operate our systems are into what they're into, right? And as above, so below. Like the world that we live in, this realm that we are in, right? It's a reflection of that unseen part of things. The unseen realms. We are a reflection of that which is happening in what some people might call the spiritual realm. So that means that there's a spiritual realm where those kinds of things are not happening. And those are the kinds of things that we want to focus on this show. And that's why I like it so much. You know, like there's that activity, that behavior of those people, and there is what they connect with in the spiritual realm. And then there's what we like to fit in the spiritual realm. You know, and this is that time. And it's never been more clear. I mean, in my lifetime, I've never seen so much more. And in the way that they are revealing those things that they involve themselves with, they're using that as an opportunity to produce more trauma. So our response to that has to be less trauma.
Yeah, and more
in both realms, in both the seen and in the unseen realms.
Yeah, and more untangling of that stuff. Exactly right. And you're in the right space again. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Like Matt was saying, on the bottom of this thing, it's all very low vibrational. It's Earth stuff. But like the top 2/3 of this map is it's all that amazing stuff. It's all that, like you said, the unseen. And there's so much more of it than we give credit for in the modern realm. That again, welcome to Troubled Minds. That's why we talk about these things the way we do. It's like, okay, do you believe that or don't you? What do you know about it? And let's go. There's so much here that you can see, and we'll get back to this map too, because there's links in the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. It's linked right there in the general chat if you want to go pull it up and take a look at it. It's there's a lot of stuff. I mean, the consciousness renaissance, that all by itself is a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Yeah.
The apocalypse works both ways. Like it's not all the evil stuff. You know, all is being revealed. Everything is. We're in a time like that. These are cycles, and we're in that cycle. We're in that part of a cycle right now. You know, and so we make a decision about which what we want to focus on and what we want to bring forth. Our response. You know, we can't be more trauma. It can't be more of that edge of things. You know, there was this other thing that I wanted to. Well, if I remember, maybe I'll call back. But there was this other point I wanted to make about all of this. But you know. The simplicity is something that I like to focus on. Like the thing of you ask and it's given. You knock and the door is open. You know, you plant a seed in your subconscious and it goes to work. It's that simplicity of our already being connected to everything. At this time of AI being so shoved down our throats, and they keep trying to imply that it's superior to our consciousness. We're born like this. We are born connected to the universe. We don't need zeros and ones. You know what I mean? Like we're already like this. We're already here. We're already home. All we have to do is ask. We don't need to go through a priest class first. We don't need to ask permission. We don't have to pay alms to, some self-imposed authority. We're already connected to it. And that's the good news. That's the other side of this quid pro quo that we're seeing, this horrifying quid pro quo. The other side of it is just ask, because you're already connected.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. And this is part of this too. Like I said, the conversation. Don't forget that in the very beginning there was that spoken word. Okay, and words are spells. Okay, they can. Like I said, words can damage. Words can inspire. All the rest of that stuff. And as you're saying, if you don't ask for things, if you don't get out there in the universe and sort of put the resonant frequency of your voice and your intention out there, things don't happen. You sit there in silence and you get silence. But sometimes when you ask for something, look what we get. Look, years and years ago, I started this thing, and look what happened. Look at all these amazing people that have become part of this. You put the voice out there, and the voices come back. I'm telling you, it's a very powerful thing. What else you got? Go ahead.
An interesting thing, I know we're coming to the top of the hour. An interesting thing is one of the people I interviewed on the Ark of the Bard, a writer, I told her at the end of her podcast, and she did, and guess what she calls it? The portable rabbit hole.
Nice. That's a great name.
And she throws the rabbit hole. She throws the rabbit hole down, and she tells you to look into it, and she says, "What do you see?" And then you start talking, and of course, what I saw was what the rabbit hole I wanted to go down was where the stories come from. And so that's what we talked about for like an hour, and it was cool. And so it spreads.
It does.
And that's good.
It does. We're proof of that. We're proof of that. Like so many podcasts have come out of this space. So many, people writing that weren't previously writing coming out of this space. It's amazing.
So I'm going to get off it on this, but just remember, as dark as it gets with all of their stuff, there's a response, and that's us.
Yeah, you bet your ass it is. And as long as I got air in my lungs, I'm going to be here preaching to the choir, and I'm honored and blessed to have you guys as part of the choir and part of the congregation. And whatever this looks like, it's not a cult, I promise you. This is just people having a conversation. Appreciate you very much, Herschel. Thanks for popping in here, and always a pleasure. You have a great night. Gonna bump him down. Commercial Herschel. That's the name of the Substack, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says follow Herschel here. Please do that. Go ahead, Matt Sala. I'm going to show them how to find this on the stream. Anything on what Herschel said? We got a minute and a half or so. Go right ahead. There was a ton there. So much good stuff. Go right ahead, my man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Herschel, man. Good call. I liked how he was talking about how the map was kind of split in half, and I was thinking about the saying "on earth as it is in heaven." As above, so below. We have those kinds of sayings. But I also liked how he brought up, he talked about the apocalypse. And I always have to remember, it's funny, whenever we hear apocalypse, we think the end of the world, destruction, chaos. But the word apocalypse is just a great change, not like a transmutation, like a change. So I think he's right there. I think we are going through a change. It might seem bad at first, but looking at all these things on the map, if any of these, like the weird ones, are true, here we go. We're gonna have to change. We're gonna change our way of thinking. We're gonna change our way, change the way we eat, change the way we live, and change the way we treat each other. Thinking about those kinds of topics, like 0 point energy.
Yeah, 0 point. Yeah, 0 point energy. I said in the opening statement, it's real, so it must be real, right? You heard it on the internet, so everything's real on the internet. You are the best, my man. We're here with Matt Sal tonight. Temple of the Owl is the name of the podcast. Link is right there. Follow Herschel while you're at it. troubledminds.org/friends. Follow Herschel. Follow Matt Sal. It says affectionately, that's what we call him. Of course, his name is Matthew. Temple of the Owl is the name of the podcast. Tonight, we're talking the conspiracy rabbit hole. Is it possible to ask and you shall receive? Is it as above, so below, or is it something entirely different? Love to hear your thoughts. 702-857-6939. Be right back. More on the way. Looks like we got Derek the Night Stalker, more from Matt Sal, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. This is Troubled Minds.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, which you can find at KUAPDB.com. Simple as that. Press play, you get the radio station, which we're live on right now, and you can catch us live for free anywhere in the world. I'm pretty sure, let me know if something doesn't happen in Tasmania or whatever. We'll get that fixed, but that's the point. Tonight we're talking, I'm calling this the Age of Conspiracy, a human connection interface, and we're here with Matt Sal tonight. The Temple of the Owl is the name of his podcast. Again, brilliant guy, good friend, all the rest of that stuff. And the point is, once again, sharing inspiration, sharing ideas, looking at the world in slightly different ways outside of the narratives they feed us. Because look, I'm exhausted of that stuff. It's what brought me here to this space. It led me through that space, exhausted me of it, and we just became weird and wild and wonderful. And so let's do that together. You guys are the best. What I hear might be just a Discord issue. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Thanks for the feedback on the audio there. Matt Sal, Temple of the Owl, welcome back. How you doing, brother? And we'll get to Night Stalker in just a second. Thanks for being patient. Welcome to the thing. And how you feeling? Everything still okay?
Yeah, good call so far. Thank you guys. I just like to talk about this stuff. Conspiracies always on my mind. So a couple of things on here, like the Men in Black are on here. There's all kinds of stuff. We want to talk about different things on the map, or if you guys want to talk about how they're all connected, rabbit holes, and all this. So thank you guys for calling in.
Absolutely. That's what this is about. It's about, you're good. It's about people talking to each other. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We're taking your calls. The phone line should be working. I should have fixed it. Like I said, it was a Cloudflare issue. If you guys are, tech savvy, you'll know what I mean. If you're not, you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't care. Meaning that, trust me, I'm working on it. It should be fixed. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Usually Derek pops in here when he's ready, so I'm not sure if he's ready, but we'll go to Derek the Night Stalker in a second if he's ready. What's up, Derek in Massachusetts? Yep. The Night Stalker. How you doing, my man? Welcome to the thing. Thanks for popping in here. Welcome to the joint. I mean, hey, I know you've seen that conspiracy map, right? Is this like a conspiracy staple going back years, right? Like the wild map. I mean, if the Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme with the guy and the cork board and all the lines and stuff, if that's like a conspiracy meme, this is like the conspiracy map that's been a thing for quite some time. What do you know about it? And I don't know, what's on your mind? Welcome to the thing. Glad to hear your voice. Hope you're not too freezing balls out there wherever you may be.
We're post blizzard. We didn't get hit too. We only got about a foot. There was another Massachusetts town that got 41 inches. Shut out Fall River. So we're a little bit lucky. But I'm walking to my car, so I'm gonna need you to team me up real quick again. But just first, awesome show, great topic, Matt Sal. And I just want to shout out Temple of the Owl. I'm a big fan of the show. It's I get the notification pop up and everything, and I've listened to every episode at least twice, and I find it to be a real relaxing listen. It doesn't put me to sleep, but it's kind of eases me out of sleep. So when I wake up, I listen. It's my first podcast I listen to. Not if I'm going to work, but if I'm like chilling during the day or whatever. I'm a big fan of it. So it's a really relaxing and informative podcast from a magical noob, and you teaching me the basics. I love it, brother. Thank you. But team me up one more time just to get in the zone. Sorry.
I got you. You're good. Don't slip on the way through there. I've done that in the parking lot. It's an ugly situation. I'll read this. So which universe do you live in? Not which country, which cosmos? Archon prison world, alien zoo, biblical endgame, simulation glitch. For millions of people, these aren't fringe questions. They're the actual operating cosmologies of daily life. We're in a canon war, C-A-N-O-N, one N, and it's not left versus right. It's a war over the master story of reality itself. And when you look at this larger map, this conspiracy map, like, as Matt Sal pointed out very smartly, the bottom of this is very low vibrational. It's very Earth-like. It's all the terrible things happening here. But when you scroll to the top, it is the Great Awakening, the Great Solar Flash. It's the Rainbow Body. It's the Bardo States. It's the Escape Samsara. So many good things here. And what does it mean? As usual, like we're trying to find meaning as humans in the larger universe. What does this mean to you? Back to you, Derek. Hope you're safe and sound in the car. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, it's great stuff. It'd be a good format for a show or a cool intro to a show or a podcast that somebody like printed out just a big version of this and put it on the wall and just like sat back in a chair and threw a dartboard or threw a dart at it, and whatever it lands on is the show is the show topic for the day and the rabbit hole you want to go down, because there's just like so many you can be doing that for 100 episodes, for 400 episodes, however much is on there. But Yeah, I mean, just to touch on what other people have talked about, I think that armor of God that you talk about is this source idea, is that kind of you creating your own reality, the Jungian, all of the problems that you see on the outside are based on like internal problems and stuff. So when things get too heavy, that's kind of what I step back to, like that kind of that's kind of the defense, or kind of the pushing, like the push button in case of emergency. It's like, oh, this is actually like all of this is in some capacity my fault, and maybe if I could fix my life up, I can fix some of these problems and stuff. So that's there, but also I do think it's a super complicated web. Or in first, like the canon wars thing, I absolutely love, and I've been saying that like the canon is kind of breaking down, like amongst all walks of life. Like we're losing context. Like if things as petty as like movies that were like considered trash, and like it was canon. This movie's like Indiana Jones is good. We all love E.T. and the Green Lantern movie is bad or whatever. That was kind of canon, but now just because everything is out of context and stuff, people are just finding things on streamers or whatever. No, what this is actually pretty good, or this is actually, but just we're losing the collective story that you're talking about. I love that idea. But part of this web, I think, is because it is actually really complicated. And one of my go-to conspiracies is all the presidents are related and stuff. And people kind of shrugged it off, like, oh, we're all related to some family tree. And true, but also like I'm not like walking down the street. None of us in this show right now are 16th cousins with each other. Me walking down the street, I'm not going to see my 16th cousin walking down the street in my town that my family's lived for a couple of generations. But all the presidents that have all of the rulers of the most powerful nation in the last 250 years have all been within 16 like rungs on the tree, and the people that they beat in the election. So that's a conspiracy. And then so like one day randomly I was getting into like the European houses and stuff, and I just asked the AI real quick, like all the European families are related, right? Because I would like, because it makes it seem like there were different houses that kind of gain power and lose power and different battles and stuff. But I wanted to get like a clear little blurb of like it's basically it's all one tree that kind of famous people are marrying into, but it's the tree remains the same kind of. But it really was tough to get it to do that. So I spent a few hours kind of like getting in the zone and going down. It's like trying to contextualize the European houses, like the Yorks and the Stuarts and the Tudors and all that kind of stuff. And if you watch like Game of Thrones, it's very Game of Thronesian. And just imagine like season 5 or 6, where the threads are so disparate and so far-reaching, and your cast of characters that you're following are so wide across the map. How are they ever going to interact with each other by the end of the next season? Think about that. And that story is only like over the span of like 3 to 5 years. And then imagine like trying to contextualize all of the history of each one of these houses or the whole history of humanity. And it's impossible. So I think that like this map is kind of reflective of that. But in the same right, I think it is kind of a massive distraction that we can get into. But I'm talking a lot, so
no, you're good. Yeah, absolutely, and that becomes the thing, right? And like I always say, there's a trillion data points, and you can make narratives from all of it. And that's why it's important for me to be able to look back at this and go, okay, look, all of these are all real things, okay? But are all these real things actually related to each other? And maybe, yes, and maybe in massive ways. But maybe not. Maybe they've been obfuscated. Maybe there's, details that are foggy for very particular historical reasons that don't want you correlating two things. I mean, there's a lot to this. And that's really the point of, once again, talking to each other about these ideas, because you can look at history. It's incredibly fascinating, tons of stuff. But I mean, if you just look at the news, it's garbage. So, my intuition tells me, my tinfoil tingles when I go, I wonder how bad history is. It might be really, really bad.
Yeah. And the distractions is a tough thing, just because like I do believe a lot of stuff is distractions, but not all of it is. And it gets kind of frustrating when you see like on the internet. I saw one thread where they were talking about like, or like 3 posts in a row in like one sitting, talking about the Olympics as a distraction, whatever, some other tragedy was a distraction. The UFO thing is also a distraction, and the Epstein thing is also a distraction. So I'm thinking this is in like one of the really big, like basic conspiracy groups on Facebook, whatever, like the huge, like a lot of people in it. So it gets kind of silly in there. I'm thinking to myself, so what is not a distraction if all these different conspiracies are distractions? But man, I'm talking too much. So any thoughts on that first?
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're totally good. Sure. Exactly. Go ahead, Matt's on that. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. And that's the point. Like I said, all data points exist. Okay. They're there. You can go verify them independently. But what are the most important ones? And why should we think about them? Why should we talk about them? Go ahead, Matt's off. You got anything on that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think Bohemian Grove's on there. So if you want to talk about how all the presidents are tied together, that's a great conspiracy theory. Like I said, that's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. Wasn't there like one president that wasn't? That's so weird.
I'm blanking on. I always blank on his name. I think it's like McKinley or something like that. Like it's one of the ones who aren't very well liked in like the 1800s. But his dad was the head of the Masons at the time, so I think they got him in there, and I think he was like removed relatively quickly. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but yeah, there is one technically. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, that's just so weird. But yeah, that's definitely, like I said, typing in the internet and start going down rabbit holes. I feel like I think you missed it in the beginning. I was talking about how there's so many distractions that we're missing the one that we need to go down the truth. And there's just there's so many things out there, bread and circuses, and trying to get us to fighting over the gray matter between our brains. I think the point of it is that we keep coming back. I think we need to, as far as we can, we talk about the rainbow body. We talk about the transcendence and all that. I think we need to each time try, maybe we're the furthest we've ever been in, one of our reincarnations. Maybe we just need to get up there, and each time we just keep getting a little bit further, or we could fall down the rabbit hole and get distracted. But the whole point of what I'm trying to talk about, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get above that, escape the matrix line, and try to get as close as I can to that, either if you believe in like rainbow body, or even, like I said, return to source at the top corner. Just trying to be the best person I could be, what I'm saying, to that point, as far as I can go. And hopefully I can get a little bit further than I did last time.
Yeah. It is a great way to kind of calibrate if you are consuming a lot of this content, which I have not been. This is like when I call on these shows and being a fan of Troubled Minds is kind of the most I'm actively like searching for stuff and like thinking about this stuff. I'm really overwhelmed in other aspects of life, so I've been kind of just easy listening or easy watching a lot of stuff lately. But if you are really into it, it is kind of good to oscillate between spiritualism and stuff with the darker conspiracy and stuff. And when I was in a really dark place, that's when I got into the Ram Dass stuff and the idea of like the Bhakti Yoga and we're all one and like we're all going back to source, all that kind of stuff with the monad, all that type of stuff. It was a good pivot and kind of helps when you get too dark. But also and it kind of puts things into perspective that potentially the real grand conspiracy is that we are creating reality, observer effect style, and the elite's real power is by injecting these conspiracies so that we believe them so that they become true. So if the big thing is that there's an Illuminati that controlling the world with 300 people and these are the families, and these people, maybe they know we have to get them to think that like the Wizard of Oz has no power unless the people believe that the Wizard of Oz exists and stuff, So maybe we're manifesting this partially by putting that power into we're creating that reality where these things are happening and stuff. But also, I mean, there's bad stuff that happen. I don't know. So part of it's like, how do you discredit some of the stuff that's on the chart? And then you kind of can't. Some of the stuff, like, I mean, if it's true, especially if it's true, obviously, you can't really discredit it. So you just kind of put too many things on the chart. You kind of overwhelm it. You kind of flood the block and make it so the chart is so big and complex that most people can't even read it on certain screens. Like Matt, you mentioned at the beginning that you have a big TV so you can see it. Like half the time I see it uploaded, I can't even, you can't zoom in on it on my phone. I can't, it's all blurry and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's,
real quick on that too. So so I'm looking at OBS and I can kind of read it better, but it's a smaller, kind of a smaller window. I have it like blown up on a full monitor, like a big 23-inch monitor, and I zoom in and it just gets blurry and you can't read it. And Fred just asked in the chat, he says this, and this is funny. He says, is the gravity loss in August on this list, right, on this map? And so I dropped it into Claude as he asked and was like, hey, is that here? And Claude's like, it could be there in the smaller text I can't resolve, or it might just not have made the cut for this particular map. So even so Claude can, do all the stuff, but still it's like some of this text is so tiny, like, what the hell is this? What are we even talking about? Sorry, go ahead. Just as a point to that, like, you can't even read, maybe half of this stuff. The big things you can read, clearly Great Awakening, Great Solar Flash, this type of stuff, but there's tiny text that I don't even know what it says. So hopefully it's not something horrific, but yeah, go ahead.
It's a pretty good metaphor, honestly, for conspiracy as a whole. because if it was a easily digestible bulleted meme kind of with just 5-6 blobs on it, then you could kind of get invested in it as you're scrolling by. It would stop you. But if you can't even get into it, then you just kind of keep scrolling and go, yeah, life is bad. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it's a web I'm not even going to go down. So I've been really frustrated. Like, I feel, I'm not going to get into politics and stuff, but I feel like the closest we had to a canon was around like 2012, when everyone was kind of on the, like, apocalypse could be coming type thing, but then also politically we were all like, everybody's bad. Like, people didn't really bump up against they're all related type of thing until I started saying during the Trump and Hillary election that they are also cousins, and here's a mainstream article of them being cousins, related to King John from Robin Hood, John Lackland, yada yada. That's when it got like dicey, that they didn't disprove anything in conspiracy that was existing amongst the canon in 2013, 2014, but they flood the block with a lot of stuff that made it tough to decipher. And kind of now I'm like, fast forward 10, 11 years, like I'm really frustrated with a lot of like the social media level, TikTok level conspiracies and stuff. A lot of it's like fun, which I like, but being treated with the same gravitas as like the Epstein stuff. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough time for conspiracy theory, but like the tangle, like it's like they've insulated the truth with like a shield of tangled vines, kind of to protect themselves and stuff, and or like they're trying to tangle you up in the process. And the more traumatized you get by it, and the more like my mom was watching the State of the Union and was crying during it. Because she is fully invested in whatever CNN, MSNBC is saying. So as I'm walking out the door, I'm like, Mom, just like, they all don't care about us. You can't get that worked up about this kind of stuff. Just don't watch it, or just let it kind of slide off you a little bit, because you're taking it all as if it's like, I don't know, like it's tough. And so the more you wrestle with these tangled vines, and the more you try to struggle amongst the quicksand, the quicker you're gonna get sucked down into it. Which I think is an important thing to consider. I'm rambling, but you got anything on that before?
No, you're good.
One quote I want to read after, but
yeah, you're good. And this is why, once again, sort of, we started the show with sort of, some political conspiracy, not a lot. It was, as the term is, parapolitics. But then eventually I just got so tired of it, because to me, the more I thought about it and talked about it, the more transparent it was that it was just one big facade. It was this nonsensical, both sides being as terrible as possible to give you the appetite for the other, right? So you get tired of these guys, and then you vote in the other guys, and then you get tired of them because they're equally terrible or worse, and then they're just kicking the ball back and forth, and it's not even a ball, it's just a pile of crap. And this is what we're dealing with, and we're supposed to go support this. Like, the more I talked about it and thought about it, the more I was like, I don't even want to think about this. I want to talk about philosophy. I want to talk about reincarnation. I want to talk about the paranormal aspects of life and the mysterious universe we live in, not this garbage. And it's sage wisdom, as you said. You got to let it roll off. You cannot take this stuff personally, because we are sheep to them, and that's it. And you think of one bleeding sheep in a pasture of hundreds of millions is going to change anything in that space? Anyway, go ahead. You got a quote you want to read?
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. Especially like in this attention commodity we have online too, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And just like the loose ideas out there now and stuff. So just, I mean, people are understanding that there's a lot of stuff there's that's designed to make you upset, make you traumatized and everything. But also with that, the overstimulation, people are kind of brushing off everything and stuff now too. It's like, oh, it's all a distraction. It's all trying to get you loose from me. And I don't know. It's rough out there. But so I'm watching the X-Files, and I watched like I'm an 89 baby, so like I didn't watch it on its original run, and it's a sacred text, obviously, and it's like I want to get people. There's stories of like, oh, I rushed home to go see it. It's appointment viewing, and I want to kind of like feel that. So I've watched the first 4 seasons 3 or 4 times easily, trying to like get that feeling, and it hasn't really clicked with me. But now like I'm cruising, and I've crushed like 7.5 seasons in the last like few weeks, cruising in it. And there was but the more I'm like watching it, the more I'm kind of thinking like, is it all like, how's it going to resolve at the end of it? Like, is the UFO stuff fake in this canon? Like, I think the paranormally like swamp monster, sewage monster, like stuff in the woods is like gets real, but like is it all psyop? And then there's a quote from Mulder here in like season 5 where like, what I've seen because I wanted to believe. If you look too hard, you can go mad. If you continue to look, you can become liberated, and you can become awake, as if from a dream, realizing that the lies are there simply to protect what they're advertising. Government, which knows its greatest strength is not in defense but in attack, is strongly held by believers in UFO phenomena that there is military complicity or involvement in abductions. But what if there is no complicity? What if there is simply just the military seeking to develop an arsenal against which there is no defense? Biological warfare, which justifies, in their eyes, making an ass out of the nation with stories of little green men. A conspiracy wrapped in a plot inside a government agenda. And that's like a kind of like a microcosm for this kind of like, what if it's all just secret military stuff and as doing the alien stuff? But kind of what if all of the tangled web is kind of like an intentional security system of defensive rabbit holes that you can amaze rabbit holes that will get you lost before you can find this kind of jewel in the center, you know? Like I don't believe that like it's all the military doing UFO stuff. But what if it's like they know they can be summoned and it's all demons or it's all extraterrestrials and that kind of thing, and they're injecting like all of the military whistleblowing stories and crap, blah 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 blah, because I don't know, because it's a tangled mess that's impossible to cut your way out of, you know? And it's kind of a metaphor for all of it, every conspiracy on that list. I'm rambling, but that's all I got really. What do you think?
Agreed. Go ahead, Marcel, if you got anything.
No, yeah, I think it's funny. The guy I thought was gonna spin me off the cliff, he brought me back. Brought me back to not everything's a conspiracy, and we do have to be careful what we believe in. All this, I like how you said that. You were like, just do your research. Don't believe in everything. Don't believe in something just because someone said it on TikTok or whatever. Do your research, learn. Don't just believe the first thing that Google says. But I'm glad that you brought that up. Just being careful with it. And this is something that we should talk about this too. And this is important. You can get too far into it, and it can lead you to dark places. I've been there. And so, we gotta, like I said, let's talk about the top part of the map instead of the bottom part of the map, kind of joking. But I like to talk about things that help me and make me think about things. But yeah, you're right. If there is things on the bottom, as above, so below, and at the bottom, there is some crazy stuff. You said it's a bad time. It's kind of a hard time to be a conspiracy theorist, because we told you so. And so I feel like that there's a lot of darkness. So yeah, we need some sort of protection or some sort of divine wisdom to help us and get back into trying to go up to the top part of the map, talk about these types of topics instead of the lower vibrational topics. So thank you for that, nice talker.
Real quick, let me interject real fast. So Jen said earlier in the chat, shout out Jen, she said, the dark stuff too needs attention because that's how it hides. It hides because we don't want to engage with it. So it's also important too, and it's well put. 1 more minute, all yours, Derek. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, like the meme of the "I told you so" thing is definitely true, but it's also getting kind of buried by the tons of TikTok videos of like this impressive building is definitely Tartaria. Like, there's no way we can make this or this person is a clone, or this person is like this celebrity is not. I don't know. It's just getting a lot of like silliness is getting mixed up in the "I told you so" thing to kind of make people kind of glaze over. And with the what you're talking about, I don't want to say because diving to the bottom of the ocean to find the treasure is dangerous doesn't make it not important to go find those secret treasures or whatever. But the defense, the scuba gear to wear to find the bottom of the chart is the stuff on the top of the chart. Is that source spirituality that you're talking about? Is the defense to get to the bottom? And it's good to oscillate between the two. Some scuba metaphor. But thank you, brother. Great show, you guys. Sorry for rambling. Busy night.
You're the best. What are you talking about? You're the best. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for the call. You know we love him. That's
Thanks, man.
Derek the Night Stalker. Please give him a follow. troubledminds.org/friends. I'm rolling the wrong dial back here. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says the Night Stalker. Very simple. Go follow his YouTube channel. Let's inspire him to make more content. We're talking the age of conspiracy tonight. What do you know about it? More with Matt Sell. We got Joe in Florida coming up in your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. This is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange. Be right back.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
So do I press the duck button or do I just lower the music? Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking the age of conspiracy, I'm calling this, a human connection interface. Now, what the hell does that mean? Let me read it to you. I'll just read the script. Which universe do you live in? Not which country, which cosmos. Archon prison world, alien zoo, biblical endgame, simulation glitch. For millions of people, these aren't fringe questions. They're the actual operating cosmologies of daily life. We're in a canon war, and it's not left versus right. It's a war over the master story of reality itself. Now, that's hyper-reality. That's the things that we always talk about on this show, because it's not necessarily so much about what you believe. It's about your belief system and how it overlaps with others, and is it compatible? And very simply, the answer is probably. And sometimes it's not, but it depends on the level of radicalization and trauma and all the things that we've endured as people, okay? And you cannot put behind you the level of all the things that you learned in your formative years as not being traumatic, even though they didn't maybe seem like it. We were taught a bunch of nonsense and, you know, a ton of good stuff too. But how do you reconcile that now? I'm old. I'm getting old, right? I say that, no offense to people older than me, but I've never been this old before. And I dare I say, you never have either. What does it mean? When you put all this together, look, I don't know. I don't know these answers. If I did, as I always say, this would be a very short podcast. I'd roll in, tell you the answers for 5 minutes, and I'd end it and I'd be gone. But I also wouldn't be honest, because I don't know the answers. And that's the point. That's why we talk to each other. That's what this is all about. Love to hear your thoughts. Matt's out. Anything to add? And we'll go to Joe in Florida. Thanks for being patient, my man. You're on Troubled Minds. Welcome back. Thanks again for bringing the idea, and thanks again for being here. Go right ahead. What you got?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. The Night Stalker, like he said, funny, the guy I thought was going to spin me off the cliff with conspiracy theories, he brought me back to think about things like that, like how don't get too far down the rabbit hole. Important we talk about those kind of things. But yeah, I think there's a lot of conspiracies out there. Lots of favorite ones on there. I want to see what you guys think. But like I said, don't go too far down the rabbit holes. Let's talk about if any of this stuff is real. If any of this stuff is real. To me, I think a lot of this stuff could be real. The transcendence, the rainbow body, the like trying to get to the return to source with a more knowledge than I did last time kind of thing. I think that's really important. So I just want to hear what you guys think. Thanks, Mike. Let me know.
Thank you. You were the best. That's Matt's Owl again. Matthew in California. Temple of the Owl is the name of the podcast. Right there. Click it. templeoftheowl.com. You'll see his, again, all the episodes. His merch is there. His social media. Please go give him a follow. We're talking conspiracy tonight. And what do you know about it? And not just conspiracy. We're talking the deepest conspiracy. We're talking all the rabbit holes. And look, I understand that a lot of people recognize this as a dangerous place. But also, can you not suggest and fully recognize that if you go too deep in the politics rabbit hole, it's also a dangerous place? And so I think the limits of what our mind space brings to us and what we get from it is you can't go too deep down any rabbit hole. Am I right? Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-857-6939. Almost caught myself reading the wrong number. Joe in Florida. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Matt Sal. What's going on? What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, forgive me. I'm in a little bit of a low energy state today. But looking at that chart and looking at this section of the conscious renaissance and the loops that we keep repeating in history, it seems that every time, I mean, I'm stating the obvious, so nothing new here, but every time we have progress, maybe from let's just say Jesus, the Enlightenment, Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, any maybe religions organized in ideas, or even movements, again, like the Enlightenment, basic human rights, when that came out in our history books, in science, and all of these things, we do seem to get dragged back somehow. And being dragged back, it almost seems even greater now because of social media and how we are pinned into these camps, whether we want to or not. And we could turn things off and maybe just listen to your show or drink the maybe juice. But like I was laying in bed today, I had done something yesterday on the interwebs that was pretty positive. But laying in bed today, I was a little bit bummed out. I didn't even want to get out of bed when I got home from work. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm kind of bored. You watch movies, you watch things. I got tired of watching the Marvel movies, all of that, because you know how it's going to end. It's almost predictable. And I almost feel like maybe a small percentage of the population feels like I do, at least. Maybe some of you feel like that. Maybe it's cynicism. Maybe it's like we've seen this all before. Release the aliens, release this, release that, whatever. I'm not impressed. And I'm laying in bed, and I usually have to think about a spark to get me out. Usually it's hockey, which I should do tomorrow. But my only cult that I'm part of seems to have temporarily betrayed me with the team. And that's put me in one rabbit hole. But then I thought about, when I talked about Sisyphus, and I had read Albert Camus late a couple of weeks ago, just because of some other things that I was going through. And I'm like, what happens if we're just all doomed to roll the rock up and let it fall down? And if we are we going to make the best of it? And that thought this evening got me out of bed to be social. So then I go back to AI. And we're pushing, my kids make fun of me if I use AI. I have no clue what I'm doing with it. But if I was to buy a pair of boots with some kind of artwork on it, they're like, that's AI generated, don't do it. And I have to respect that because maybe they know better. So, but at the same time, in this conversation that you guys are having tonight, I start to wonder, maybe after AI, when it says the solar thing that you have on that chart, is that going to be singularity? And if it is, maybe it isn't going to be evil. Maybe it's going to look into that quantum void, go to whatever the original source is, and maybe we'll all get mind virus positively and try to live in unison. This thing about us evolving into being better people and higher frequency is great and all. And every day I get up and I try to go to work calm and I try to be nice, but the rest of the world drags me down. So how much can I be like Christ before I get dragged on a cross, if that makes sense? How do I get there? Or do we just keep coming back? All right, Martin Luther King, everybody that we may have had in this country or in this world that seem to start unifying people ends up getting capped. Sorry to be a downer.
No. I mean, it's legit. You go back through history. This is a thing over and over and over again. And especially in the old days when you couldn't track that stuff, you're like, oh, it's a shame. He must have died of food poisoning. Like, okay, sure, buddy. Like, imagine how much of that was sort of just written over in history as somebody got ill and passed, but somebody got to him because they were problematic to their rule or whatever. That's rife through history. And so that's what we know about. Imagine the ones we don't. Like, at least in the modern day, we have forensics, so we can kind of track some of this stuff down. But the old days, whatever. You do whatever you want.
One has to wonder if all of these prophets, whether they're movements, in a history book and groups of scientists and Jesus and religious leaders, if they're here using their spells, then it's obviously clear, which we already know, that there's an underlying cabal that has dominion over us. And even good movements tend to be corrupted. You mentioned Jen earlier, talking about science and things hiding, and it's true. Even good science would probably be turned to evil, right? So, and we know that with, we can make these arguments about the most recent vaccines, right, versus maybe more traditional vaccines that prevented certain things like measles from occurring, right? So that could be a divisive debate. Where sports may have been unifying, okay? And I've been bringing this up. I've had this debate last night with a family member, but every year somebody bitches about the halftime show. Somebody always bitches about the halftime show. But this was the year that they actually had a second halftime show. So what are they doing? Okay, and as much as we want to be good, I love hockey. I don't watch it. I haven't watched hockey in a long time. Right? I haven't watched games in a long time. And then we have what happens yesterday when certain people just invade the locker room. And I'm shocked. Now, I have a friend of mine that is a father, and he takes his kid to the rink every morning. And he was a history teacher. He walked away from it. And on my little Facebook, he agreed with me. And I know that he teaches his kid. He brings his kid to hockey. He teaches his kid discipline. Sometimes I'll show up really early in the morning to jump in the goal so his kid could shoot against me to get better. But I know that his kid's being taught discipline. And I know that if it was probably his kid in that locker room, his kid wouldn't have stood for that. So all of my cults and maybe my beliefs and how they overlap with the people that I have to skate with don't always agree because I end up fighting with people. So you just end up wanting to be a recluse.
Yeah. Yeah. Then here you are by dark of night talking to strangers over the internet, scary strangers. and I'm positive we disagree on a lot. But you see, right? I think it takes that receptive vessel to be able to kind of take the information, synthesize it, and then not sort of continue a conversation, bereft of judgment. That becomes really the issue here. Is that we have a judgment problem. We have a mechanism of belief that we're unwilling to yield for even our best friend, even our family in some cases, and it's.
Yeah, I should post a picture.
Sure.
So yesterday I was driving to work, and on a bridge over the Pinellas Trail, some women were up there, and I couldn't make out the sign, but when I got a picture of it, said, "Women Rock." And in little writing, it said, "Ice out," right? So I go underneath the bridge, I honk the horn and show support, and I had this picture. And I kind of want it to be, and I don't do this on Facebook much, it's probably why I don't have social media much, because it's the criticism thing. It's why when I DJ, I don't have a channel, I don't have a Venmo, I don't even have a DJ name. My friends have to give me the DJ name. Even though I do a great job, I stay humble as much as I can. But I basically posted on the way to work this morning and saw this nice group of women using their freedom to promote their band called Women Rock. I tend to agree that women rock, even though my wife might say I like the ladies way too much. So I posted that very nondescriptly. Okay, as nondescript as I could, or non-political. It got 260 likes in a local group. It was great. But as expected, the trolls came out. Somebody was basically posting the phone number to squeal on your neighbor, which I'm debating. And I can't even think of the word. That's what I'm dealing with right now. I took screenshots. Do I call these people out? Do I become an asshole? Some people wanted to criticize and not use their screen names. Or do I just leave the post stand on its own? One lady argued with me that it was ice. And I said, well, it must be nice because it wasn't that cold in Florida to have ice on the roads. So I played that one off. And then I also said that the answer was to ban bridges, because if there weren't bridges, maybe we wouldn't have protests. So instead of building bridges together, we should tear them down. That's the way I left the answers to everybody.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, I call those, and look, I've learned, take it or leave it, I've learned in my time doing this, people just come and take shots at you, and it doesn't matter what you say, you get them anyway. And I call those bad faith actors. And so the more time you spend in that space, the more time you become them. So I'd just be like, leave it for what it is. And that's that. Fire and forget. Shout out to Mighty Rohan's what he always said. Winding down here. If you got a final thought, we got James behind you. We got to get more from Matt Sal, but fire stuff. All this. I appreciate you staying up late. Go ahead.
I will get up to play hockey tomorrow. There was one guy that debated me. He's a pilot, and he thought it was fine that those idiots, those goons, ended up in the locker room. And then I had to remind him that he still doesn't have a union, and maybe he should read a book. So I'll see those guys in the locker room tomorrow. They know better than to screw with me, because for my size, I will still put them in the boards, and I don't mind playing cheaply when I need to. So while the rest of you might want to be enlightened as much as I want to be there with you, I may have to be out here, hopefully not spreading blood in the streets, but taking a side in something that might be coming down the future. God bless everybody.
No blood in the streets. You're the best, brother. Good luck tomorrow. Don't get hammered into the boards yourself. Be swift. Be nimble. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Take care. You know what I mean?
Thanks,
Joe in Florida, a good friend for a long time. Shout out Kelly if you're out there. It was the first caller we ever had that called back. Joe was the second that called back. Been friends for years. He is the funeral director. He did those episodes with us, and great input as always. And like I said, perfect example of people living across the country from each other, different ideas about different spaces because we're dealing with different things, finding ways to get along. I promise you, Joe and I don't agree on everything, but that should never be the case. If you agree on everything with anybody, it's weird. It's stalker-like. That's not good. We should disagree and be friends. Go ahead, Matt Sal, and then we'll get to James, and we'll wrap this up.
I think I always say saying don't feed the trolls. That's my joke. Let's go.
Yeah, no, that's the point. Those bad faith actors, like I said, and it is that, if you stare too long into the abyss stares back. So if you spend time with bad faith actors, you literally become one yourself, literally. And so you're looking for the gotcha moment. You're looking, here's where I'll get them and stuff. And like I hear this local radio, and these people are just like they're all insane. All of them, both sides. I'm listening to this, and it's gotten so bad. I literally listen to music on low, or I just drive in silence these days because I just can't stand it. All of radio is political, and these people are all insane. Literally, if they can themselves without that, the hook in one side or the other, they would recognize they're making insane points, absolute insane points, and well. Welcome to that hyper reality aspect of living in 2026. We're talking the age of conspiracy tonight, a human connection interface. And look, I'm not even saying that politics is a bad thing to engage in, but it is the abyss. So you go too deep into that, it will go deep into you, and it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We're taking your calls tonight at, of course, the phone line, which everybody's scared of now because it broke last time, but the phone line is active, 702-857-6939. We have James on the Discord instead because the Discord works. So what's up, James? Thanks for being patient, my brother. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? And what's on your mind? Go right ahead.
I'm okay. Hope you can hear me all right.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, great show. Great show, Matt. Great show, Mike. Great calls, everyone in chat. Not that I've been able to read chat, but just glad to be listening in. I've seen that image before, that map, and it just makes me realize how we can each only sort of take in so much information on our own over time, and how I think what we need to do as people, as a species, is find the things that we're good at looking into, just like we find the things that we're good at doing, and focus on those things as much as we can, while also still trying to sort of look at the other things on there as well. Look at everything. I was thinking about this. Not just go wide or far, but do that, but also go deep into something as well. Do both, because it's amazing the connections you'll find when you try to do that, and it's amazing the connections you'll find when you talk to other people that are into these other areas that you don't have the mental bandwidth or the patience or whatever it may be to deal with, which there's a lot in there that, you know, I've heard of before that I'm not that interested on its own, but I'm happy to listen to people talk about it here and there, just in case something connects and makes sense to me about what I'm into. And I think that's, the conversation is the best way to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, like we're all kind of connected. Like I have what I talk about, and you have what you talk about. We all kind of feed off each other. I feel that. Good job, James.
Yeah. So just if anyone looking at that map ever feels intimidated, don't, because you don't have to take in that whole thing, in your lifetime. Because who can? It's an amazing image, and I think it's just. It's a lot more interesting to look into these things with everyone else than try to take on that whole thing on your own.
Yeah, and I was going to say this earlier too when Derek was on. Shout out Derek. Hey, we have that spacesuit, that armor of God that I like to call it. When you kind of travel out of places where you're comfortable, our spacesuit is each other. Like we back each other up. If somebody fumbles, we're there to kind of pick you up and, dust you off and just, keep on trucking. Let's talk about these ideas together. It doesn't matter. It's not about being right in a moment. It's about cruising through the moment, learning something, and then having grace for the people around you. That's what it's about, period. And everything else is just window dressing. Everything else is just, and this is why I'm so hard on those dogma cycles. And look, I'm not anti-religious. I think there are many religions of the world that are important for us. These concepts of morality, right? That sort of ancient morality can fall by the wayside. But if we completely are just throw that to the wolves, we are in a bad space. So as I always say, like our ancient intuition needs to play in this modern space. And if we're not doing that, I think we're doing something very wrong. And I'm not a religious guy. I'm just not. I don't crap on it, not directly. And I'm sorry if you think I do, but I do think that there's so many amazing lessons there. As I always say, wisdom can be found everywhere if you're looking for it. Inspiration is everywhere if you're looking for it. Welcome to Troubled Minds. What else you got, James? Go ahead.
I'll be done here in a second because I want to give you both the rest of the time here. But again, great show and calls from everyone. I just as far as much as I look into everything I look into, I think it's also important to note. You may have good friends and/or you're an expert in something, but that still doesn't mean you know everything about it. I can confirm that 100% in my case. So, great show, and thank you for having me on.
Great setup. That's James Salcido, the paranormal expert of Troubled Minds. Give him a follow. SalcidoParanormal.com, SALSIDO paranormal.com. Link's going to be in the description, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down, follow James. Please do that. Very simple. Look, you do that and you click on his thing, you get a link tree, and then you get his all the stuff he's working on, his books and everything else. And of course, is it there? No, it's not. I'll pull it up in a second, the website. But SalcidoParanormal.com. That's the point. James, you're on. I caught you. Put your website up on the thing. You're the best, brother. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for calling in. As you will, I know you're resting your eyes, and be well, get better, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for chipping in here, and have a great night, brother.
No problem. Thank you both. Take care.
You're the best.
Thanks, James.
You know him, you love him. You absolutely know him. You love him. Anything else, Matsal? We got a couple minutes left. If you want to kind of round this out. Again, special thanks to Matsal. This was his idea. Like he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you ever talked about this crazy graph mic?" And I said, "No, but there's a ton of great stuff there." He said, "Let's do it." So here we are. Let's do it. Let's wrap this up. Appreciate you very much. Final thought, and then we'll finish. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good show. I feel there's one thing that I did want to kind of touch on. Hopefully, can help some things at the end. But as I was talking about going closer to that top right corner where it's like Rainbow Body and Return to Source, learning about all the different religions, like you said, there's wisdom in all of them, not just the one. But one of the books I read that really kind of got me thinking about this is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So I recommend anyone interested in that kind of transcending, going back to source kind of thing, weighing your heart against the feather type stuff, reincarnation. Read the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That really kind of gets me into the end of what I wanted to talk about tonight. But yeah, man, I like this map. Let's share this map. Let's talk about some things. Let's look at it, each individual thing, and look at it as a whole as well. And don't get stuck in the low vibrational conversations. But I think there's something out there for everybody that can learn something. There's lots of stuff that I didn't know on there. And so that's what I think is important about being a troubled mind and just talking about all these kind of conversations together. So thanks, Mike.
Amen. Glad to have you. Fire stuff as usual. Again, by the way, go follow Matt Sal, templeoftheowl.com. Like I said, got it right here. You just go look at the thing, all the stuff. You can listen to the radio station. You can hear us live on his website right now. Just click on the radio button. It'll play it. But also go listen to his amazing podcast. Again, like I said, like he was saying too, we bounce off of each other. Like we're, focused in different aspects, but we're a team. That's the point. That's exactly the point. So what does it mean? What does it mean? That's the question. Ask yourself, what does it mean? And I think there's some sublime there that can be found. And if you can't find that, keep hanging out with us. Keep chilling. What's up? Shout out Parker in the chat. Keep chilling with us. Keep hanging out. You'll start to see there's a lot here that's worthy of whatever it is that you're out there looking to get. Like I always say, defer truth. It's important to kind of just excuse yourself from your own dogma cycle, to talk to people, to understand where they're coming from, and then lock back in. It's fine. It doesn't mean it has to dominate your life. And that's that. templeoftheowl.com is where you find Matt Sal. Thank you again for all the amazing calls tonight. Thank you for all the engagement. Thanks for all the amazing chat. Thank you for being nice to each other. It means a lot to me. Shout out to Puff, Raz, Gordo over there in the Rumble chat, all kinds of stuff. Shout out Ryan Gable. We got a Ryan Gable mention over there from Puff and Gordo in the chat as well. Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of people over the years that have made this go. It's not just me. Obviously, you see what smart friends we have. You see how these conversations develop. You see how everything doesn't have to have a conclusion, does it? I don't think so. I think as long as there's air in my lungs and there's ideas in my mind, I'll be here. However, it doesn't mean I expect to find the answers to the universe. That's absurd. You see? Defer truth. Think about ideas. Think about people. Think about having a little bit of grace for everybody else. And don't forget to honor. If you want to help Troubled Minds, help our friends. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. There's a wall of people there. There's so many people. And look, it's an in club, not an out club. If you're not on that list, and you should be, all you have to do to qualify is help us in one little way, somehow, some way. Spread the word. Repost us. Go drop these links on Reddit. Ask the question of somebody out there that needs to hear this stuff. Because I promise you, there's a lot of people that need to hear this stuff. This is a refreshing conversation. Dare I suggest it's the great conversation. That's it. If you want to help us directly, spread the word. Let people know, even on a night like tonight, we're not going to tell you who to vote for. It's literally the last thing on my mind. I've been through that rodeo, and it's an ugly space. Let's talk about things that are important. As above, so below. Like Herschel said, there's the invisible space that doesn't get enough attention. Let's give it that attention. If you want to help Troubled Minds directly, troubledminds.org. Go follow all the places. troubledminds.tv. Working on that. That'll be back momentarily. troubledfans.com. Buy the hoodies, the hats, whatever. Buy the merch. Many of you have done that. I appreciate it very much. That's it. Look, that's it. That's it. Just realize the world we live in and the universe at large is more mysterious than you could ever dream. And that's the premise. That's it. It's simple, but you see how complicated that gets. But I mentioned, follow our friends. Please do that. As we finish, look, it goes like this. We'll be back on Thursday night, God willing. Tomorrow's not yours until it is. But it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.